Now, this year's cohort of Senior Australian of the 2021 is united by a common passion. They're all about social justice and giving back to the community to ensure everyone gets a fair go.
Well, our next guest is Victoria's recipient of the award and has been helping refugees settle in Australia since she herself arrived on these shores as a refugee. Welcome to the show, Bích Cẩm. It is lovely to have you on the show. First of all, what was your initial response when you heard the news that you'd won the award?
Well, I think that most people who receive awards, are surprised at receiving it, and I'm not an exception.
Well, congratulations, first of all, for the award. Now, you are being honoured for your work as the founder, chief executive and honorary secretary of the Australian Vietnamese Women's Association. Where do you even find the energy and the time to be on all these boards and to help so many people?
Well, it's my passion, and you have to make time for whatever you love to do, you like to do, yes.
Tell us a little bit about the association. We know that you set it up soon after you arrived in Australia as a refugee. Was that why you set it up? You saw that there was a need to provide some sort of help, some sort of camaraderie amongst the Vietnamese Women's Association?
Well, yesterday was the 38th anniversary of our association. I arrived in 1975, and I set up the organization in January 1983. After a few years in Australia, I felt that our family was fairly well settled, and at the same time there were a lot of boat people arriving, and also a lot of Australians being worried about how the new group of refugees would settle in Australia. And at the time I was working for the Adult Migrant Education Services. And so I was aware of the problems facing refugees and migrants from all backgrounds.
Just from the time that you arrived and the time that you set up this association, and now, if you can compare throughout all these years, from what you've observed, do you think there's been a change, a difference in the way refugees are perceived, or maybe even the help that's offered to them?
Well, I'll start with the help. Certainly services are better. There is a wider range of services. And because we've had some, 3 or 4 decades of receiving migrants from non-European migrants and refugees from non-European backgrounds. So in that field, we are better equipped. But with regards to people's let us say, worries about how new arrivals settle in, I think that there are very similar problems and attitudes.
So you think it hasn't changed as yet in all these years, all these decades as yet?
No.
That being the case, Cẩm Nguyen, what do you think can be done to change these attitudes?
I think that we need to keep working, and we should try and encourage groups to, multicultural groups to have joint activities and get to know each other.
You know, Kam Nguyen, earlier on in the interview, right at the start, you said that this was your passion. Tell us what it is that you get in return for giving so much of yourself to to the Refugee Association and community.
Yes, you see, when our family first arrived, there were very few Vietnamese in Melbourne. I think that there were a couple of hundred people. And we had no family, no friends. But we were lucky to rent our first house in the suburb of Ashburton, and the neighbors were very friendly. The neighbors in the street would bring us flowers, veggies, and I remember even one morning we got some croissant. And the local church invited us to their functions. I must say that when we received the first invitation, my mother and I were very worried, because in the invitation it said, "Bring a plate."
All right.
And so my mother and I said, "Oh my God, the church is too poor. They don't have enough plates. We are a family of 7. So what should we do? We go and buy 2 sets of 4 plates and brought it to the function." Oh my God!
Oh, Kam Nguyen, and so many more plates. I'm sure you've offered so many more plates to so many more people as well. Congratulations once again for being awarded the Victoria Senior Australian of the Year. You are no doubt very honoured, very loved, and the community is very lucky to have you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much for that.